In the most crucial and loved moments of the NBA, there's no other moment that holds as much anticipation, excitement, and accolade packed into a mere second than a successful buzzer beater. These winning buckets can hold quite the impact, giving players, teams, and their fans a much-needed boost heading to an upcoming game, say like providing a surge leading to a postseason series win. While most people remember the shot maker and the actual buzzer beater, there is, however, the other person, unsuccessful in providing the effective defense. And in more instances than most, one particular player in the league, despite being an all-star in his own right, has had quite the fateful honor of being a victim to game-winning shots. In today's video, we're taking a look at quite possibly the worst buzzer beater defender in the NBA. Before we jump into it, give us a thumbs up as it helps us out a lot. Subscribe with the notification bell for future updates. Without further ado, let's get into it. The best buzzer beaters in NBA history provide the most memorable instances of basketball, showcasing mastery of skill and the confidence to face the difficulty of acquiring the win, despite coming from behind. However, in recent history, no other player had to face the daunting task of defending these fast-paced moments than NBA star Paul George. Whether by circumstance or direct position matchups, there have been a number of great nail-biting NBA poster moments where the ball is released just before the game clock expires, leading to an awesome buzzer beater, with George attempting and failing to block the shot. But before we conclude that all NBA teams should consider placing the ball to whomever George defends in crucial moments like these, it's important to note Paul George's incredible ongoing career and understand why he just can't help getting buzzer beater hits in the face. Paul George, who's turning 31 in 2021, is a 6-time NBA All-Star, a 5-time member of the All-NBA team, and a 4-time member of the NBA All-Defense team. Much to say, his stats, performance, and abilities are worthy of being the NBA star we all know him to be. An incredible offensive and defensive player, he currently plays alongside Kawhi Leonard for the Los Angeles Clippers. An LA native, George was born in Palmdale, California, and grew up with an athletic family. He played high school basketball while attending Knight High School in Palmdale, and as a junior, became the only non-senior starter on the varsity team. As a senior in 2007, he became the Golden League MVP after leading the Knights to the Golden League Championship. George would eventually play 2 years at California State University, Fresno, or Fresno State, where he made the Sports Illustrated list of the top 16 most entertaining players in college basketball, with George averaging 16.8 points, 7.2 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2.2 steals while shooting 42.4% from the field. At the 2010 NBA Draft, George was selected 10th overall by the Indiana Pacers, which included notable draft batchmates, number 1 pick John Wall, number 5 DeMarcus's cousin, and number 9 Gordon Hayward. George had quite the NBA career so far in his 10 years in the league, having played for the Indiana Pacers for 7 years, the Oklahoma City Thunder for 2, and 2 years now since the controversial celebrated trade into the Clippers. Aside from his NBA career, George has also won an Olympic gold medal playing for the United States national basketball team. With an impressive understanding of the game and an array of incredible defensive weapons, George, who is among the top-tier players who can average upwards of 20 points per game. He's also considered as one of the top defenders in the league, consistently making top defensive marks from steal to blocks, making the NBA All-Defensive First Team and Second Team twice so far in his career. He even led the league in steals in the 2018-2019 NBA season with an average of 2.2 steals in 77 games while he was still with the Oklahoma City Thunder. With all these credentials and the evidently obvious skill level of a player such as Paul George, why then is he still considered the NBA's worst buzzer beater defender? While George is firmly regarded as the Clippers' second-best offensive option behind Kawhi Leonard, he's also its second-best defensive option after the man with probably the biggest hands in the league. Which comes to no surprise that in instances that mattered, George would be the one to face would-be buzzer beater shooters. Playing as a 6'8" forward, George has the likable chance of a successful defensive opportunity. He's shown great defense before, and yet there are just certain instances where his acumen for defense failed him just when it was needed the most. In 2013, at the game between the Toronto Raptors and Indiana Pacers, where Rudy Gay hit the game-winning shot with 1.7 seconds left in overtime, who was defending him? George. In 2012, Miami Heat's Dwayne Wade hit a buzzer-beater jumper with 0.1 seconds left in overtime, giving them a win over the Pacers, with George defending, something Wade would do to George for another game, this time in 2016, bypassing George's defense with great speed for a layup that would send the game into overtime, which Miami eventually won. Even Wade's then Miami teammate, LeBron James, had his buzzer-beater moment with George when James's buzzer-beating overtime layup in Game 1 of the 2013 Eastern Conference Finals gave the Miami Heat a one-point win over the Indiana Pacers. In 2013, at a regular season game against the Boston Celtics, George was left defending Jeff Green, who finished a late Boston surge by hitting a jumper with 0.5 of a second to play remaining, claiming a 2-point win over Indiana at 83.81. In 2016, Kemba Walker of the Charlotte Hornets hit the game-winning shot with 2.4 seconds left to lead the Hornets over the Indiana Pacers 96-95, sinking a left-handed scoop over Paul George. In 2017, George faced his current Clippers teammate, Kawhi Leonard, who then played for the San Antonio Spurs, who managed to shoot a turnaround jumper over George with 2.4 seconds left, leading to a 100-99 victory for San Antonio. While playing for OKC in a game against the Chicago Bulls in 2018, George failed to defend Lauri Markkanen with a go-ahead layup in the closing seconds that led the Bulls to taking the win. In the same season, at a game against the Boston Celtics, Marcus Morris made a three-pointer with 1.2 seconds left, stunning the OKC Thunder to a one-point lead win, with who defending? You got it, Paul George. With George seen biting on the first pump fake from the hesitant Morris. At a game against the Minnesota Timberwolves, the game was won when Andrew Wiggins threw a three-pointer with less than 1 second remaining in the game. After creating some space with his defender, Paul George fell to the ground from a powerful screen by Karl Anthony Towns, leading to a 115-113 win over the OKC Thunder. Perhaps no other failed defensive attempt is more memorable than the performance by Damian Lillard, who shot a 37-foot buzzer beater in 2019 to close off the Round 1 playoff series between the Portland Blazers and the OKC Thunder. But then again, how could George have expected that Lillard, who was still standing by the logo at center court, would make such an impressive shot? Lillard got the shot off over George's outstretched hand. A Kodak moment for this buzzer beater category, if there ever was one. Then there's the three more recent offerings of George, side by side with Kawhi Leonard. This time, with both being part of the LA Clippers, while inside the NBA bubble in 2020. Yeah, we're talking about that Devin Booker shot with a pump fake that avoided the defense of Kawhi, and a fadeaway that provided less than an inch of room from Paul George's outstretched hand, which went in to take the 2-point lead just as the buzzer sounded to take the win. Okay, with all of those moments, we just can't help but feel that Paul George has been hexed somehow. And whether he deserves this fate or not, it's not for us to decide. After all, Paul George remains to be one of the most top-caliber players in the league, and still is highly favored to lay claim to that championship if they ever get the chance to win over that other LA team. But one thing's for sure, at least for now, is that whether through circumstance, bad dumb luck, or simply through opportunity, Paul George has the right, no, the honor, to be called the worst buzzer-beater defender in the NBA. So what do you think about the NBA's worst buzzer-beater defender? We'd love to hear what you think about them by commenting down below. And if you're new to the channel, give us a thumbs up, subscribe with the notification bell for future videos. Until next time.